How you doing there? Ron Cooks with Infinite Client. I was thinking the other day and wondering what were the steps that led me to the real estate business. And knowing what I know now, I would have still entered into this profession, but I would have approached it a little more at a different angle, I should say. So what I'm going to do here, this video is just going to talk about some things for you to consider before you decide you want to change careers into real estate. First off, this is a fantastic career. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love this career. But there are some things that you need to consider before coming over into this. Now, when I speak to a lot of clients, they assume that what we do is very easy. And with experience and training, it does become easy over time. But it is no easier than someone taking a transmission, completely breaking it apart and putting it back together. For that skilled technician that has done it hundreds of times already, it is easy for them. But for somebody that's looking at it for the first time, it is not. And what most folks don't realize or put into play is how we came to meet in the first place. See, what happens is a lot of my clients that I encounter, they see me from the point that we meet, and then they watch me from the taking them to house, and then taking them from contract to close, and then the relationship we have thereafter. But what they never ask themselves is how we came to meet in the first place. And that's where the work comes in. So keep that in mind. We have a lot of work to do before we actually meet the client to begin with. And that's where the bulk of the work comes in. So I've come up with 5 things I want you to think about moving forward before you decide you want to change careers into some of this. First thing, you need to have a plan. Here in Texas, we have mandatory classes that we have to take, and we have to take 6 pre-licensing courses before we can take the actual real estate exam. You need time for those. I've seen people take those 6 courses in as little as a month. And I've seen a good portion of people take 1.5 years, 2 years, because you're still living your life. You have things to worry about, family, your current job. There are things that you're still doing that you just can't drop everything and go to school. So have that mapped out and that plan in place. When am I going to take these courses? How much time am I going to give myself to take these courses? And when you start on that path, I want you to think of it in 3 phases. First is the 6 classes. The next phase is the actual test. And then we enter into the business of real estate. As I mentioned before in a previous video, what you learn in school has nothing to do with the business of real estate. More the laws and rules of real estate, but they really don't teach you the business of it. That happens once you finish getting your license. So we'll do that, and then check out my previous video about interviewing a broker once you've passed that point. But this is all about what to do to get into this business. So keep that in mind. That's number 1. Next thing is you have to have some money set aside. Even if you were to get your license and have a client day 1, meaning you have someone that's right there the very first day that you sign up. Even then, it still takes us 30 to 45 days before we get our first paycheck. So keep that in mind. Typically, it takes a brand new agent about 3 months to get their first client, assuming they're starting from scratch. So plan for that and understand that. Now, I've never advocated quitting your job wholeheartedly and jumping into this thing with both feet without having some safety net. Now, if you're still living with your parents, or if you have a spouse that is working, or if you have a retirement check that's coming in, yes, you can afford to do that. But you do need some type of support for yourself in moving out before you're into this career. So keep that in mind. Have 2 to 3 months of living expenses piled on if you don't have a steady income coming in already. But if you're going to jump in this thing with both feet, having that nest egg 3 to 6 months is probably going to be worth it. But I will tell you, after your first closing, all of the money that you would have spent would put you back at zero again, because this is quite a lucrative career, as you can have figured out, or you wouldn't even be thinking about changing into your career. All right. You're going to be the boss now. All right. You're going to be the boss now. So in that, you don't have anybody watching the clock for you. You don't have anybody standing around and wondering when you're going to come in to clock in to do the hours that you promised. You are your own boss. And what I've seen from a lot because of that, they have not set in the discipline that they need to actually go out and report to work every day. All right. Right now, the way I look at it is, as an individual agent, I am the CEO of this company, and I am the only employee for this company. And this employee has many jobs in this company. And if I don't show up to work, nobody gets paid in my company, the company of one. So if you don't already have the discipline to get up and report and do your daily task and make your phone calls and write your notes, if you don't have that already instilled, you may want to try to build that practice up now before you do it, because there's nobody here making you show up to work. It is just not happening for it. Also, number 4 is, I want you to consider this. The weekends that we are accustomed to, the evenings that we had, no longer belongs to you. I say that because most of the people that you work with are working. They have a 9-to-5 job. So in the evenings, you'll have to show houses. In the evenings is when you're going to have your buyer and or seller consultations with your clients. The weekends is when most of your clients will be available to see homes. We don't have the luxury now to lock in a 9-to-5. Now, yes, you're your own boss and you do set your own hours, but your hours have to be flexible enough to accommodate people that are working outside that are not working outside the 9-to-5. All right. So if you are not ready for that or equipped for that, just go. So my weekends, I didn't count on them. Besides church on Sunday mornings, in the afternoons is when I made myself available to my clients. I did take time off, but my time off was counted to everybody else's. So I would take my time off during the week when I can get it in. When I became a new agent years ago, I was doing 60, 70 hours a week. I was grinding my first couple of years in this business, trying to make a business for myself. So I realized very early in the game that I had to alter my times to meet the times of my clients. So I want you to keep that in mind. And finally, it is an absolutely rewarding career. It is. The sky is the complete limit. I mean, I've seen agents making $50,000 in 1 month in this business. Now, please understand, it took them years to get to that point, but it is quite possible. And I've seen that. And turning 6 figures in this industry is not as difficult. You just need to have the discipline in place. So keep those tidbits in mind if you decide you want to change into careers. It is not hard, but yet it isn't easy either. You have to get up. You have to develop habits for yourself and your company that will sustain you for the long haul. So just a couple of things I want you to think about before you change in the career. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment below and I will certainly get back to you. But stay tuned for more information, more videos as I start this video series, walking someone that does not have a license all the way to a very fulfilled career and then beyond. I'm Ron Cooks. I'm with the Infinite Client. Please hit that subscribe button, get that up so that I can get the word out to a lot of folks. Thank you very much for your time. I'll talk to you later. Bye.